Jennifer Aniston, Roman Polanski, J-Lo, Nicole Scherzinger, Margaret Thatcher, J.K. Rowling, Woody Allen,
Right, okay.
Whoopi Goldberg,
Good one.
Diego Maradona.
That's fine.
This is out of your league. Jon Wilkin, Mark Wilkin.
That would be really weird. How weird would that be? Oh,
Is that? We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
What's your name? Matt Flanagan.
Matt Flanagan.
What do they all have in common?
What
Any
do all
guesses?
those people
Any
have in
guesses?
common?
Yeah, what do all those people have
Very
in common?
well known.
Without looking at my notes.
Well,
Well, just like
people-
our guest, they're all 5'5" and pocket dynamite. But none of those fucking idiots have 8 grand final rings, nor have they won 3 World Cup challenges and 2 Challenge Cups. On the podcast this week, ladies and gentlemen, so excited to have Mr. Robert Jeffrey Burrow.
Jeffrey.
Give him
Yeah.
the full title, Rob. The full title.
Yeah.
Robert, so good to see you. And look, I guess you're probably sick, or tell me if I'm wrong, sick of people saying, "How are you?"
No, I mean, the response has been great. So overwhelmed by how much people are offering to help. So I feel good. Sound like Stephen Hawking, but other than that,
Mate, he's a great man.
Yeah, he wasn't. He lived forever, didn't he? So I feel really good.
Yeah.
You know, apart from the voice, I'm doing all right.
Well, look, that's the first thing people will notice, especially if they're sitting in the car and listening to this, and because you look fantastic, you're looking good, you're looking healthy. Yeah. But that for you is that the frustration because everything else is absolutely fine for you. You feel great. You're not in pain.
Yeah. No, I used to talk a lot as well, so it was quite easy. So I had to now talk makes it. What I miss is the quick responses during banter. I can't do it
But
now.
your brain's still coming up with
I
those.
think it,
Yeah.
but I can't get out.
By the time you think of it, someone else has stolen it.
That's it. Yeah, the moment's gone.
I knew that. That was mine.
Just leave
I had it
yeah.
up there.
I mean, just listening to you there, is it exhausting for you to talk after a while? I mean, does it like little things like that first come into my head? Is it struggling to eat because it's the muscles around your throat which are going first, isn't it?
Yeah, no problem eating or drinking. That may change over time, but no, it's that hard work. Probably like twice as much energy you're trying to speak.
Yeah.
So really weird, mate. I feel I'm gonna talk fine. It just doesn't come out.
Well, mate,
right.
you're talking far. We can understand exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying.
But that's the interesting thing, isn't it? That the first sort of point of communication with someone is your voice.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to Brad Singleton saying you were texting him and
Yeah.
stuff, and that's all really not. As in that would still be as you would communicate all the time, wouldn't it? But face to face, the speech is obviously it's a huge thing for everybody, isn't it? But
It's and obviously the way we communicate, but text message, I reckon on my own in banter, quick text, but the speaking, I'm way behind. I'm way behind.
I mean, Rob, you got diagnosed. Not that long ago. It was just before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's been bearing in mind we're in February now? What's been the biggest thing that you've had to adjust to and adapt to so far?
Lots of things, really. Telling the kids were probably the hardest bit. Obviously, coaching, I still do that.
You're still
so
Leeds reserve
you can
coach.
imagine how that must be, to the players. Part-time, which obviously suits me great, but I think the whole life has changed, my plans for the future completely, changed. I want to be a coach. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So my immediate focus is just being well for as long as I can, before things slow down. So I'm really positive and, really optimistic about all.
Well, you touched on it there, Rob. I wasn't going to go in with that, but you mentioned it, telling the kids, because that's been the hardest thing you've had to do. And I've read and watched so much from you over the last couple of months. and you said you're not afraid of dying. Dying doesn't bother you. But what is heartbreaking for you is that you're not going to be able to watch your kids grow up.
Yeah.
And you've had to have that conversation with them. I mean, as much as you can share with us and everyone watching and listening, you did that around Christmas time as well.
Yeah.
I mean, how difficult was that to do?
It was really tough about what to do before Christmas. Obviously, that was a great distraction. But Maya, the middle one, said, "Wait till us that for it's boring." So we all
Broke the ice.
like, yeah, perfect. The kids don't really understand, but
Yeah.
whenever they're cracking jokes, that's where I want it,
Yeah. And did you see that sinking in at all with any of them? And does it need to? Because, there's plenty of time
No.
for them to understand
Yeah,
that, isn't there?
the oldest Macy, she's onto it a little bit. She knows what it's about, but other than my advice, I've been normal at home, so I don't think they know the true extent of it, and, I'm not going to recover, and obviously they'll be without Dad, hopefully, way down the line, but at the moment, I'm normal, apart from the voice, so whenever I'm like that, I'll think, we're getting on fine.
And Rob, you mentioned there, like, your mortality, like, coming face to face with your mortality. Like, that's, I suppose, something, it's part of the human condition, isn't it? We live and we die. And you sort of, I'll not say dismissive, but you say that you're not scared of dying. But how does that feel? Knowing that this condition will take your life and will take your life sooner than it should?
Yeah.
Is that, have you not had time to process that? Or
Not
is that just...
really. You're right, John. And, when you're looking like that, you want to be 78, don't you? But obviously I'm not going to be. So whenever I feel this good, I'm not really seeing that sort of place yet. I'm aware of it, but whenever I'm walking, feeding myself and things like that, I don't really get to that. So I'm totally aware that at some stage things will stop and get worse, but I'm in the really early stages, so there's no reason why I can't live 10 years plus. So at the moment, John, I'm not really thinking that far ahead.
And what are you doing in terms of, keeping yourself as healthy as possible for the time being? Are you on medication? You still training, keeping the body active? Is that like worthwhile to do and keep the body moving?
Yeah, I'm on medication. I start a few trials. Hopefully they're, helpful. But the doctor said, listen to your body. So exercise is fine to do, but we've never listened to push through barriers. I now have to, when I'm tired, stop. Not carry on like we've always.
You feel when you read the exercise bike and it says you get off if you feel dizzy or faint. Well, you actually have to do that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. So do you know what? It's great. I need to eat a high calorie diet, which is brilliant. McDonald's or whatever. They could have said, "Oh, not eat this, not eat this." Best diet ever. So I'm quite happy.
Well, on the food side of it, have you? Because one of the horrible things about the condition is you do lose weight quite rapidly. Have you noticed the weight loss?
Only from not playing. By nature, I'm really skinny and light. So when I played and when I was, obviously still playing, weights and diet and training kept my weight up. So every pre-season, like John, you flash. Maybe don't want to put weight on the off-season. I lost weight, so I had to get back training to put the weight back on. So I've only lost a bit of weight, which is probably by me not playing now. But other than that, I'm eating well.
Rob, let's rewind a little bit because and go back to sort of the end of 2019.
Yeah.
I know that you were. Before you'd been diagnosed, you were doing a couple of award ceremonies, and I think from what I read, there were a couple of words that you'd said on
Yeah.
stage, and I think Keith Senior picked you up on it. And
Kev Sinfield.
was it Kevin Sinfield?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. And it was one of the words was solicitor, and one of
Yeah.
them was consistency.
Yeah.
And you hadn't clocked that, but I mean, you talk about being diagnosed
Yeah.
early. That was the first
Yeah.
start of you thinking something
I
might
think
be
so,
up.
yeah. Well, I was given an award out at the, obviously, first team was Academy Player of the Year, and I couldn't say consistency.
You can now.
Yeah, well, probably as good as that, but we moved out, so during this time, so I couldn't say solicitor, and I've always been a bit short-tongued, but it almost got really, my voice got bad really quickly, so them two words were really hard, so...
And did you start at this stage almost self-diagnosing yourself? You started Googling a little bit?
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the weird thing was that when I got the nerve conduction test, where the sit needle in the muscle shock you, the guys, we said, you think it might be a motor neuron? And they said, why are you saying that? You've been Googling. We're not looking for that. We're looking for something called myasthenia gravis, which similar but
Less serious.
not, yeah, trapped by medication. So at the time I thought, brilliant, they're not checking for that. Done the old Google, headaches can be brain tumors, when you look up. So whilst there, we thought, brilliant, and after that, we expected nothing major. So when I got diagnosed in the last meeting, biggest shock ever.
Wow.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Well, take us to that moment, Rob, because you speak about it so blasé
Yeah.
now, because you're a tough little fucker and you've cracked on with things, and unbelievable respect to you and full credit to you. But at that moment, how do you take that on board? So that with the moment the words are coming out of that doctor's mouth.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to disagree with him. My voice wasn't anything like it is now. So I thought he was telling me, you've got maybe something wrong. There you go, medication will be fine.
You thought it was a viral infection, didn't you? At
Something like that, nothing sinister. So to be told that, I almost thought, are you sure if you got it right? On my MRI came back fine. The bloods were fine, so only the nerve conduction test where I failed 3 out of 4. So, but since then, I seen the professor and the tests were borderline, so really early stages. So, that my youth, being young with this disease, is positive for me.
The professor you saw, I think, was Christopher McDermott.
Yeah.
Who's a specialist neurologist as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things you talked about, and I know Wilco touched on it there, was death. Inevitable for all of us.
Yeah.
Probably sooner for you, unless who knows?
Yeah,
Who
well,
knows?
you
Who
never
knows,
know,
Rob?
yeah.
Yeah. That was a conversation which you were intrigued about, and I know you've talked about the process of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be morbid, but the process of it being peaceful. You had an in-depth chat with him about how it
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah, he did. And he said that, mostly dying your sleep, peaceful. So, again, I don't mean to be tough, but
Yeah.
I'm not bored about that. You were saying, John,
Is that the sportsman in you?
maybe it is, maybe it is, but the hardest thing is not seeing the kids grow up. That is, leaving my wife behind, and, I often say, my kid's the luckiest kid in the world, but my wife said, well, they're not, because one time they're not of her dad, so, I thought you asked me now. Yeah, I'm not bothered about that, other than, hopefully I I have incentive to be here as long as I can, and I'm happy to be doing things with my family along the way.
Do you think your sports career, Rob? Obviously we have people who play sport for a long time. You have a similar mindset. Like we sort of think differently. You've naturally got a disregard for your body anyway. Your body has become,
especially Rob with his size.
Yeah, no, your body becomes like a tool. It's almost like just an accessory. It's not. You don't respect it as much as you should. Do you think your career in sport has helped you or hindered you since you got the diagnosis? Do you think it gave you tools to deal with it, or do you think it's maybe made you a bit more blasé about the mortality?
Well, I'm sorry, John. God forbid any of you two ever get old, but I think the competitor in us all comes out. So I agree on that. I thought is by being a rugby player a factor in why I've got it. A lot of young people who get it are ex-sports people, so whether it's knocks in the head, the muscle working to add, I'm not sure, but
that's a really good point, Rob, and it's
Yeah.
obviously something which you've got plenty of time to think about now,
Yeah.
and maybe you have considered that, because look, I mean, there are millions of people who get this disease, this condition, who haven't played sport and who haven't been concussed, but you took some huge hits in your time, an era where the shoulder charge was in, which was at your head height. Doddy Weir took some huge hits, the rugby union Scotland great. Stephen Darby, I can't imagine he did, but you've been speaking to those two guys. Have you even been thinking about the connection, because it's so closely connected to the spinal cord and the knocks that you took? Is there something there that you're thinking?
I think there has to be, although there's zero evidence of, ever people showing that. So I reckon it is a factor. I had loads of knocks on my head, but the CT scan, MRI came out fine.
Right.
I thought something with a bleed or whatever would have shown there, but nothing did. So
It's mad that we know so little about the disease. Like I just can't believe, like, in this era, we're talking about like nanotechnology and like medicine, stem cell research and all these like lofty medical concepts, but something that affects people so not commonly, but something like this is not understood. I just can't understand that. How has that been frustrating, Rob? Like, about how little's known about it? Because if you're anything like me, I like sort of certainty and knowing things and detail and all of that. But there's not a lot of information out there. As soon as I saw your diagnosis, I started reading, and I was like, I could not believe how little information there is.
That's right, John. We all did the Ice Bucket Challenge. That's for ALS, which is what the type of MND I have.
Yeah.
So again, we all did it, probably not knowing what it was for. So I think the diagnosis, same for me and certainly for Doddy, is so vague. And basically, no can do for you. There you go, 1-2 years to live. And that made Doddy angry. So I get that. You basically don't know much what time, how long you've got, why you've got it, but you have got it. There's no cure. Off you go. There's the nurse. So you're right, John.
That's mad.
There's nothing about what momentum I started through Doddy. Now the rugby league background, has picked up. So, this year is going to be a really good year for trials and medication. So, hopefully not too distant future, there's something similar to a cure.
And is there some hope with that, in terms of, like you just alluded to, there's advances in medical science all the time, and you said that there's trials and there's things that they're trying out like recently. Is there anything that you kind of not hanging your hat on, but you kind of there's a lot of expectation, a lot of hope for kind of some of the treatments that they're doing at the minute.
Yeah, listening to Doddy, who basically better than anybody I've seen for information on it. His charity alone has funded about 20 different trials this year. So
Has he had the trials as well, Doddy? Has he done the medical trial?
He's gonna do everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So only learning. Sorry, I met them last week and listening to them two who had it 2 and 3 years. I learned more there than I ever learned. I'm going on a trial in March, but you can actually buy it online at Amazon. So
You can buy everything from Amazon,
yeah,
can't
you
you?
know, you can. So I'm on a trial called Tudca, Tudca.
Yeah.
And it's 50-50 whether you get placebo or the drug. 2-year trial. A guy I met said you can buy it on Amazon. So I bought some. So why risk being 50-50, you know? A lot of drugs are repurposed. That's something to do with liver.
Yeah.
So they're trying a lot of drugs out there and showing the benefits of MND. So who knows what's out there maybe which could really help.
But as you said, Rob, because you're young still, and
Yeah.
and your nerves are young, and your muscles are young.
Youngish.
How old are you?
37.
No, but I mean,
37.
Yeah.
but Rob, I'm talking young compared to people
Yeah.
the diagnosis
Yeah,
age,
yeah.
you know, which is normally late 40s, 50s, isn't it?
No, it's actually 60s.
Is it 60s?
So the average that 1-2 year, I don't apply to that. The Professor McDermott said I can't be one of them stats because I'm young and older people have degenerative nerves anyway. So I'm young, healthy, or was healthy most of my life. So that counts for a lot. So that's on my side.
And so what you want to do with these medical trials, which hopefully,
Yeah.
God willing, that they, you know, can prolong your quality of life.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you mentioned Stephen Hawking. He lived with it for 54 years.
Indeed, but he had a time which was really slow.
Yeah.
PLS.
Okay.
So he
A progressive.
had,
Yeah.
that was slower. So I have ALS, which is the most common.
Right.
He had a type which was longer. Basically, if you're gonna get it, it's that type he has.
So did you ask Professor McDermott, how long have I got?
Yeah, he said, a bit like I said with the stats about people being older, he said basically no reason why I can't live 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Being young, being fit, new technology is coming out, so I'm on a drug now called Riluzole, which is the only drug in the last 28 years, so it shows how much it's been neglected. But for every year on that, it gives you 3 months. So it'll live 10 years, it gives you 30 months extension. So
Can I ask if you've had any sort of deep conversations with Doddy? Because I know you're someone you have massive respect
Yeah.
for, even before you even knew you were diagnosed.
yeah.
I can just imagine. I can see you two sitting there, nice bottle of whiskey, looking over
there.
a lock.
Oh, massive.
Yeah?
Big man.
Well, he loves the beer, loves whiskey and red wine. He basically an opposite to me. I don't really drink.
You don't really drink? Okay.
Not really.
But have you got deep with him? Have you had some
I
deep...
just see Doddy Weir lining 2 big whiskies up
No.
and saying, Rob,
Yeah, I know.
sorry, mate. You know.
Call me. I said I would drink. They nicknamed me 2 Can Dan. I said, what then? So, you know what? It's hard to be really deep with him. He's so funny and
Right.
humorous, so...
But on that, Rob, like in life, you always want people to empathise with. Like if you're playing a team sport, you empathise with your teammates, they empathise with you, and you're at home with your wife. She sees the world how you see it. There's empathy there with your kids. There's empathy. I'm guessing, but with something like this, Rob, somebody like Doddy is really important because he can truly empathise with you as much as I would like to, or maybe your wife would really like to empathise with you. It's difficult to do that, isn't it, unless you've got the condition. So Doddy's been massive.
And it doesn't have to be Doddy, does it? It could be your man on the street who's got motor neurons.
And that's the big thing about, speaking about it. I don't like limelight. I'm not one for going on camera, but if I don't, I feel it's opportunity missed to raise awareness. Yeah. Doddy was the same, John. We're kind of teammates now. We lived in team sport all life, but them, all of us, we M&D are teammates, so only we truly know what it's like. Yeah. You're right. You can sympathize, but to really empathize, you got to actually live with it or talk to somebody who is dealing with it.
Well, and look, fair play to you because your fundraising campaign is taking off. What are we up to? What's the total? Get a ticker up on the screen. Children in Need style. I mean, look,
it was 200,000 on the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that event. On the event, so that was amazing.
That's mega.
Well, what a moment. When I was nearly in tears watching that on telly, which was JJB's testimonial, and he decided to share it with you, being best mates. And what a day for you at heading there that was when you came on.
Again, I'm not really an emotional person.
You were then.
When I went on, it just like a whole book of emotion. I'm like, and we're looking to play some great games, big crowds, but nothing compared to that. The amount of people there, first and foremost, the atmosphere was different to anything I've played in, so a memory I'll never ever forget.
And how have Leeds been around this? Because from the outside looking in, Leeds Rhinos seems like a really family oriented club. You seem really close with the guys you played with and the fans and the backroom staff and the legends of the game really seem to get behind all the past players, whether it's JJB and his testimonial, and they probably come together a little bit more with you. How was their support been these last few months?
Invaluable. Kev is my boss, not teammate anymore, but boss has been like unbelievable in his efforts. The club itself, I mean, I'm biased, but even down to the business, their stadium, it's an unbelievably successful club. So having their support and backing, along with some teammates who, you'll have, at Saints, whenever you've been at Salford or whatever, you'll have mates who'll do anything for you, and that's part of the rugby league community.
And everyone's come out of it. I mean, Wayne Rooney's come out and supported you as well. And at your fundraising evening the other night, you had Jason Robinson there, and everyone who's everyone trying to help. Big Sam Burgess, who was on this couch a few weeks ago, he's riding a bloody bike from New York to Niagara Falls for you.
I can't say thank you enough. No matter what I say, it don't really get the message across. Down to Ricky Gervais doing that message. I can't believe people are wanting to go on them lengths for me. I don't really have a massive opinion myself. With rugby league players, just normal people. So when people, decide to leave a message and Wayne Rooney, Gareth Southgate there on night.
Does that help? Does it help you when you read those messages? I mean, you probably haven't had time to read it anyway.
But a bit overwhelming, It's weird because I don't feel like I should be, mixing me circle like that, but
you're rugby league royalty anyway.
Well,
you just don't see it.
A lot of people love rugby league, and it's a shame, our game is as big as football. Everybody loves it. Everybody watches it. So, by that fact, it's really humbling seeing people in more sports, certainly overnight.
My cousin's got MS, and there's a lot of similarities with motor neurons. And he says that one of the things that helps him a lot is reading people's stories and people getting in touch who've got the same condition as you.
Yeah.
And that could be anyone, couldn't it? That could be someone who's not on Instagram, who's not on Twitter, who's just sitting in a little kitchen in Dunster down south or something, couldn't it? And I imagine those might help you going forward at being able to relate to what people have been through and to help you going forward.
Yeah, millions, exaggerate, but hundreds found email, text, tweets, all gave me advice. People who, had a family member suffer, the amount of people want to help is like, I'm totally over, but also...
What's the least you deserve, mate?
I can't think of enough,
Do you, when you look at the career that you had, which was unbelievable, really, wasn't it? When you think of people who just go through the great players who go through their career and don't win a single bit of silverware or ring.
For the Rob doesn't talk about himself, because I know it's hard to talk about your own career and put it into perspective. I think what I can say is Rob as an opponent and as somebody who I played against, I don't think there's many more players who our team respected other than Rob in terms of our preparation to play Leeds. Rob, throughout the course of like 15 years, was a thorn in our sides and beat us single-handedly in big games. Rob's trying the 2011 grand final. Unbelievable try. Like one of the best tries you'll ever see in the biggest stage possible. Rob made his body do things that it shouldn't have done, firstly. And he did it repetitively, and he had a resilience that should be admired, because many people faced with much more preferential circumstances in size and strength and all these characteristics give up and throw in the towel in a career. And I think Rob faced adversity consistently throughout his career, and you achieved so much, Rob, but there was always adversity along the way, wasn't there, for you? It was not a straight line for you. It'd be easy now to reflect and go, wow, that was just all a trajectory to success. Like, I've been in teams with Rob and it's been up and down, and that's the life in sport, but Rob maintained the highest of standards and dignity and professionalism and an unbelievable reputation throughout the game, throughout it all, and had the resilience that should be respected in any walk of life.
You were, all those 5'5" people at the beginning of the show.
Whoopie Goldberg.
You
sure that's right?
She must wear big heels.
We'll have to get back to back and check that one out. But you were told no. I mean, you were the smallest player to ever play in Super League at 5'5", but you were told no, you're too small, weren't you?
Yeah, numerous times. And you know what? At times in my life as an academy coach, now I would look at me and think, I'm making it, man. You see that, but I've never played sport normal size, I've never played football, athletics. I've always been smaller. So I learned to cope, I once referred to this with Jim Jones about going to a nightclub when I was younger. Obviously small. I had to find a way of standing up on my heels and my shoes a little bigger. So I've been trying to cope all the time. So sport, running away from the big guys was just natural to me, So I played to my strength. I didn't worry about what Flash and John were doing. I played to what I felt I was going to.
Well, Mark probably ran away from you, didn't he?
Yeah, probably did, like most people. But you probably don't realise how worried and scared other players were of you. Like, if I was playing against you, which I did probably numerous times, I'd look for your name on the team sheet, because I feared tackling you over JP or Stuart Fielden or any of the biggest forwards, because as a big man in the middle, when you were running around with the ball, you were a fucking nightmare. And most players would rather tackle a big guy than be playing against him because of all the attributes that you had. And the thing that made you different to others is you were game enough and tough enough to take the line on and to take on the big guys in the middle. And that's probably, a reference to your attitude that you may not like coming through having the size against you was the attitude that you'd use every tool that you had and you use your speed and your athleticism to a great advantage, and it was tough to play against.
Do you, Rob? Do you when? What I was going to ask you before Wilco said that was this career that you've had, this unbelievable career. Do you look back in it now with more emotion, given what you've been through and what you're going through?
Not really. No, not really. I don't believe, it just happened. It's happened. One of them stats. I don't think, anything in my career would change. I had a career, I moved on, I went to coaching, and then this hit me. So, life challenges in rugby and, getting married, that's just part of my life now. I've got to live with it, so I don't reflect or blame anything. Like in the games, I learned to cope and get on with it and find a way.
You defied the odds, didn't you, from the beginning?
In a weird way, and it sounds arrogant, but I feel like I want to do this with a disease, If they say I'm living 10, I want to live 20, and that's the attitude I've got. I didn't, to be diagnosed with this, I didn't think I'd be this positive. I must admit, when you hear you're going to die, how do you right? There's no right or wrong way, but the way I've gone is determination to be here, so that's not going to change.
I suppose the alternative is what you're saying is if they're saying you're going to live for 10 years, you're going to try and live for 20. I suppose the alternative to that is say, well, I'll live for 5, or you know what I mean. You've got a sports mentality is sort of consistently pushing, and the fact you're sort of disagreeing with the guy who did give you the diagnosis at first,
I know,
like we're sportsmen, we're disagreeable.
What was it called, Mr. Professor McDermott?
He's the guy I saw. He was brilliant. I don't want to really mention the guy. I don't want to.
It wasn't Barry McDermott. I just thought it might have been Barry McDermott in a white coat and a.
It might have been, yeah.
So look, you talked about that bravery, and you don't want to call it bravery. I'm calling it bravery, and there should be a stronger word than that because it's insane how you're dealing with it. Are there days where you just want to lock yourself in a dark cupboard and just take yourself away from the whole thing and sort of work out what the hell's going on, why this has happened to you, and feel sorry for yourself?
I must admit, the first 10 days after finding out were tough, emotional, but no, you know what? All I want is normality. So I take kids to school, I go coaching. When I'm doing that, I'm distracted. So I must admit, I've not thought that, like you mentioned there, for ages. So, the more I'm learning to cope with it, the less I'll think about it, Maybe when I get to the stage where, might need to make changes to my house or whatever, then maybe it will, but I haven't really thought about that.
But at the moment, there's not a lot restricting you. You can still drive, you can still live like a normal man. Yeah.
Do you find people patronise you? Do you find people talk to you differently?
Do you?
Because that's what really pissed me off. So I can't empathise with you.
Yeah.
But I imagine if I had mental agility still, and people were talking to me differently just because I was unable to maybe communicate how I wanted.
Yeah.
Is that one of the biggest frustrations?
I don't want pay. I said that along. But when people have been so nice, it's hard to really think, fuck off. And everybody basically coming up to me in Costco or shopping, shaking my hand, really nice, so...
There's a fine balance, isn't there, between giving you, because obviously they want to come to you and offer their love, even people who don't know you.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you're getting that all along and it can become overpowering.
But that could be a way to go with it, Rob. maybe
Yeah.
you could just be like flicking the V's at people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? No,
You
that's
are
the,
the
that's
person
the,
that
you know,
works
the
for the next
opposite.
10
Rob,
years,
Rob's taking
20
it
years.
really well. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Lieutenant Dan in Forrest
Yeah.
Gump. That's it.
Go that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's so nice of people.
Yeah.
They're so great. So, I'm just grateful for the help and support, really.
Yeah, and look, you are. I mean, some people have to suffer alone with this. You've got 3 unbelievable children, and your wife as well, and they're going to be your absolute rock, aren't they? And your reason to go and fight with the
Yeah.
doctors and say, "Fuck off! I'm living for another 54 years," like Stephen Hawking.
We out ready to go on. If I know family or a club, and the man in the street, the postman who has no family, probably died 2 years, but whenever you got incentive and will to go on, the mind's powerful, so, I'm not going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, good luck with it, Rob. It's it's a mad thing to see somebody who this is talking from just to see sort of how quickly it took hold. For me, that was tough. I spoke to my wife about it. I watched one of your interviews, and it's really selfish way to think, but I found it tough to watch. Just because of probably the fondness of the rival. We've probably had a rivalry throughout our careers, haven't we?
Played good juniors
Yeah.
internationally, so our journeys run on past on there.
Yeah. So we went 16, 17, we went to Australia together, and then Rob beat me in every grand final for about 12 years running.
You can't, but you tried to go to St. John. Later, was you? You know that.
Chose wrong. I got it wrong. Is it too
did.
late to say I got it
You
wrong?
got it. Well, have you not got any stories on him then that you shared quite a few on everyone
a
else? You
bomb.
got
I think
mate.
one was we used to. I don't know if you were part of it. We did Mike Gregory was our academy coach. We did
Yeah.
Kangaroo Court in Manly Pacific Hotel, and you had to go down in the lift in the nude. I don't know if were you part of this.
When we had to
Run on the beach.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Run on the beach. Get in the water, roll up and down the beach covered in sand, and come back into the hotel.
That's
It was a
the
5-star.
thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Not on me, mate. You look at it out. I'm not like that, unfortunately.
No,
Have you got any
squeaky
stories
clean.
on him though? You must have a few. On
No, there's nothing on me. I'm same clean living.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right.
Nah.
No comment.
No comment. You just got back from Miami, haven't you? Because you've been out there to watch the Super Bowl. You're a massive NFL fan. You're a Seahawks fan. What a final that was, though, between Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers. And that was all down to Richard Graves, who works at Sky Sports, Mike Keegan as well, the journalist. I mean, that was one of your lifetime dreams, wasn't it, going out to watch the Super Bowl?
Saying the war, you can't compare it to anything. Whether you like NFL or not, the whole spectacle and show is off the charts. So Old Trafford or Wembley, nothing compares to that. Probably off field as good on field. So the old razzmatazz, the show, although the game was good as well, perfect. Wife knows nothing about it. She'll annoy me asking goals, but yeah, I can not enjoy it.
I thought you said your wife knew nothing about it. Like, you just went and didn't tell her you were going.
Oh,
She knew
no,
nothing
yeah.
about the game. She knew nothing about the trip. Rob was on a
Rob's
lad's
living
trip.
it up in Miami.
He went and get a newspaper and didn't come back for 4 days.
Rob, without deliberately just going all serious towards the end of it, what you talk about your children, and I know that's the only time that you've really got upset with it, because of the reality for them, because you're a completely selfless man, and you're worried about them growing up without their father, or them not being able to see someone who was the most athletic in his sport doing what he could do at his best, and that their sort of lasting memory will be you deteriorating.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the image that you don't want them to have.
No.
Is that the end game?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But I'm nowhere near that mentally, I'm really, and I don't want to sound, superhuman here, but I don't want that time to come. So, whatever I'm determined, John Flash, if your mind's not right going into a game, you'll play crap.
Yeah.
If your mind's right, you can achieve anything. So I'm really mentally strong at the moment. Might be because I feel so well. When it deteriorate, maybe, that might change, but I've not really looked at that. I'm living day by day, and whenever I feel good, I won't look to find the future. I want to be see him graduate or whatever.
Yeah.
Jackson loses Virginia or something, I have loads of reading to go on, so I'm not really looked at end of life stuff.
That's intriguing because you talk about the mindset that you have to be in. And I know a lot of people with conditions similar to yours, they use meditation as a tool because the mind is a crazy muscle that actually you can convince yourself of anything. And I know that sounds really cliched in Hollywood and whatever, but you can if you tell yourself, oh, I've only got 2 years here, you're more likely to have 2 years than 54 years, and you can prolong it just as much in your mind as any medication.
Well, people again offer me spiritual healing. Why not try?
So giving that a go?
Worse, I've been to a church once. I'm made to go again. I'm not religious, but what's worse can happen? People on about this meditation.
Yeah.
Why not give it a try? What's worse can happen? Nothing. So, people offered loads of different things to try. Email, try this, eat this, do this, and I'll try them all. Nothing to lose.
Have you? I know that going to Miami was something you wanted to do and to watch that Super Bowl. Have you got a bucket list? Have you got things? I mean, like we all have bucket list things we want to do, but yours is obviously maybe come to the forefront of your mind more than others. Is there a list of things that you want to do? They can be as simple or as...
This could be a shopping list for you, Rob.
Yeah.
There's a lot of offers coming in.
The box, mate. You know what? Rugby's taking me loads of places throughout the world, give me lots of good experiences, so I feel lucky enough that on the Super Bowl, I don't really feel I need to do anything else, If I died tomorrow, I'd be happy. I've seen a lot, done a lot, so no, I ain't got a bucket list. I just want to be around for a while, and that's all I say, rather than, go this place, do this, see that. I don't really have that.
Sometimes the mundane things are the best things about life. Sam was saying a couple of weeks ago how, his dad, obviously, MND took him far too young, and they used to sit in his conservatory at home that he built for the family and just listen to the raindrops on the conservatory ceiling. And I think probably when you've got a family and some close friends, it's the mundane stuff like going for a walk or a Sunday dinner, and that's probably more memorable and a better experience than the razzmatazz of all sorts of sports.
Well, if you can tag on a trip to Hawaii with the family, do you know what I'm saying?
Like, let's not just say. But you're right. Normally, is like walk school with kids. That's fine for me. I'm not happy about doing anything spectacular. The normal things are the ones I want. Normality is the big key word in this.
Have you ever been an emotional person? I can't imagine you...
Not really,
I know you said you've never broken down with this, but I can't imagine you sort of just coming off the level you're on.
TV, when I was crying, I didn't go in emotional. I was fine. I'll do this, I'm over it. A week on, I've no the crying, but it just hit you. But that's not there now, I'm not at the point where I feel sorry for myself. I moved on from that, and that kind of honeymoon stage is over. I'm getting on with my life, and no tier policy in the house, so Lindsay don't get upset.
Kids aren't allowed. Oh, really? There's a no
Well,
tier policy.
Is that a
I mean-
strict
No
no
tier policy. Is that in
It's an
anything?
exchange ruling for now.
Is that for everything?
Kids aren't allowed to cry watching Bambi.
Stop
No
it.
crying.
I want those
Yeah.
Rice Krispies. Get out.
That's it,
Go on,
yeah.
out.
Look, life can be wonderful and beautiful, but it can be a motherfucker as well, Rob, can't it?
Come in, man. You never know what's wrong. Kobe Bryant, what last week before. All the money in the world, but when your time's up, your time's up. So live life every day like it shall last.
Yeah, awesome.
Rob, I really appreciate you coming in. And look, you're fighting it like you took on your career, an absolute diamond geezer. And anything we can do to raise any more awareness, because I know that's what it's all about now, isn't it? It's getting that message out there. Like I say, life is shit at times, isn't it? But you're absolute credit to yourself. Full respect to you, Rob. And great to have you in on the podcast.
Right, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much,
Pleasure.
man. Take care of yourself.